and welcome back to Season 2 of my F1 2016 Force India career mode. Guys, if you are new to this series, we are driving, as obviously the title quite clearly explains, we are driving the Force India car and seeing how well we can race with it, obviously trying to develop the car, obviously using the F1 2016 career mode, as you'd entirely expect. Obviously there we are in 22nd place, although if you haven't checked out last season, guys, I will leave links to the full playlist down below. The first season was incredibly eventful for us. If you guys don't have the time to watch every episode, there was also a season montage at the end, which should give you a good idea about what happened overall. If you guys didn't know, though, we did finish 3rd overall in the championship there, so a very good result from ourselves. But let's move on now into Season 2. And before we get into the first race of the season there, just look at the top right. We have 3,100 R&D points. Now, for those of you guys that obviously are new to this series, at the end of about Suzuka last season, we decided we'd cease the R&D, so we get 25% bonus on all R&D points that we earned, and we are just going to go through and absolutely spend all of those now. We had slipped down into, I think, 6th overall in the development stage, but now putting on all these upgrades, as you can see, we're going to be up into, I think, about 3rd or 4th at this stage. I can't really tell exactly because obviously you can't really line them up particularly well, and I'm not really willing to get out of Ruder to use them a TV. But still, yeah, so that means we've spent all our R&D points there with 4 upgrades being applied to the car ready for Malaysia, which means unfortunately we will still struggle at this Australian Grand Prix, but once we get to Malaysia and so on throughout the season, we will be in a very good position. Now moving on though into practice 1 and just doing the first R&D test here. Obviously you're going to try and bank these 50 R&D points if we can get these last couple of corners done correctly there. Obviously Australia's a track that I'm fairly confident now where I've done it for obviously AOR as well. So it's not really a sweat track for me, but it's a track that I've done quite well at here. As you can see, we got 1 red, 4 greens and the rest purple there, so that was a very strong lap there. And we managed to only get 30 R&D points there, just missing out on the purple stage there. It's a bit of a shame for myself, but still, we must carry on. Moving on to our qualifying practice run though, as you can see we are going green already on our first lap there, and we get another 30 R&D points there, and a bonus 5 for that team objective there in the in the middle left hand side there, so quite happy with that. But now let's move on into qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. What kind of setup will drivers be looking for around here? It's got a fair mixture of demanding corners. Is it all about finding the sweet spot in handling balance?
It's easy to make your car quick in a straight line, you just take all the downforce off. But when it comes to a track like this, you really need a bit more of a compromise. The main focus here is carrying speed through the fast-flowing corners, but you still don't want to be a sitting duck on the straight.
So here we are then, guys. Last year, if you do remember correctly, unfortunately, I think we qualified last in heavy rain conditions there, which is a bit of a shame. But we finished the race in 15th. Obviously, this season, we're in a much stronger position. So hopefully, we should, unless we have like a crash or anything, we should be able to better that result here today. But let's just move on to the start of our first qualifying lap here. As you can see, that was the end of the first simulation run there. So just the car, on autopilot all the way around. But we get an absolute horrible run through the second last corner there, but that shouldn't compromise our run through the final corner there. Get a lot of curb on the entrance and on the exit there, and as you can see there, coming to the end of our first lap there, we actually go into 4th place there, 1.3 seconds behind Kimi Räikkönen there, which is a bit of a shame. So we decided, we'd go out for one more lap here, just see what we could muster up from the car. Take a lot of curb through the 4th last corner here. Can we nail the 3rd last corner as well? Hopefully we should be able to, yeah, there we go, just avoiding the gravel on the outside there. Making sure you brake nice and early for this second last corner to maximise the run. Over the final corner though, just about flat out, very horrible corner, so you get a heck of a lot of curb there through the final corner, but as we come towards the line, you can see we're miles up on the top right hand side there, and we end up staying in P10 there, which will be enough to get us into Q2 there, so we can't really complain too much. From now on, guys, I would just like to explain as well that we will genuinely be using 3 sets. We'll be using a full quali set from now on in this career mode, just because it really adds a lot more excitement to the races and things. So from round 2 onwards, we will be using all 3 qualifying sessions. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. But let's move on into the Australian Grand Prix. Obviously, not really too sure what to expect in all honesty, guys. Don't really know what we should be looking for. Just hoping, we get a good first race here. Bring in some solid points for the team. But we never know what might happen. It is the Australian Grand Prix, obviously. Reliability is always in question at the first race of the season. as well as a lot of other things. But let's run through them, the whole qualifying order. As we can see, the front row did consist of Daniel Ricciardo, the homeboy there, getting a pole position there with Nico Rosberg in second, with the Red Bull teammate Max Verstappen in third, Kimi Raikkonen in fourth, Lewis Hamilton there with a very shocking fifth place, with Vettel sixth, Bottas seventh, Esteban Gutierrez there getting a very, very good performance in eighth, Felipe Massa ninth, Perez 10th, Grosjean there in 11th, Sainz in 12th, Kvyat 13th, myself in 14th there. I did really struggle in qualifying in the end. Fernando Alonso 15th, both Renaults taking up 16th and 17th. Then we have the salva of Ericsson, Button, Verline, Nasser, and Rio Haryanto rounds out the grid there. So hopefully, from P15 on P14, sorry, in the grid there, I can't even remember my own grid slot. We should be able to have a good race. We can obviously have a completely free set of what tyres we want to use. So I think we should really go with the one-stop strategy here, but I'm not really too sure how well that will work out for us there. Trying to look, see if we can use the super softs as well, but we end up, I think we're going to decide to stick on a set of soft tyres here. Just don't really want to risk it too much. Obviously, from AOR, obviously, guys, I unfortunately, well, I did one stop, but I got a puncture on my first stint there, which was rather unfortunate for myself there. But let's just bring down the fuel load. I actually can remember how many laps this race was, so put it on 30, forgetting the fact that, obviously, it does give you a warning if you underfuel the car. But yeah, just completely forgetting about that, though. So obviously, let's move on into our warm-up lap here. Make sure, obviously, we stay in formation, we don't crash anyone out. But obviously, not really anything happens on this lap, so I'm just going to skip forward now onto the Australian Grand Prix. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go for the Australian Grand Prix there. Kvyat there on our left-hand side gets a cat-like reaction straight away, but then gets bogged down by Grosjean just ahead of him. As we're now going to try and look up the inside of Kvyat into turn 1 there. Getting also past his teammate of Sainz there, but Sainz manages to get a late break in the end. So he moves up into P11 there, ahead of Grosjean. We move up to P13 ahead of Kvyat there. So not a particularly strong start there, but also make it clear that we obviously haven't had any crashes. As moving on into turn 3 now, we're going to throw it at the inside of Grosjean and my team, and Carlos Sainz there. My teammate Perez is in 10th place there, as we're going to try and go round the outside of Sainz there, but we've got caught on his front wing, and that has meant we are facing the wrong way around, and that's put us down into last place of the Grand Prix. I can't believe we've already had a collision here. There's 4 corners in there. It's just a cycle glitch, really. Luckily, obviously, we didn't face any damage from that, but that has left us at the back of the pack here, which is a huge, huge shame, obviously. But obviously, as I said, there's no damage, so we should be able to just continue on with our race here, just starting from last. But we're going to try and make a very, very strong inroad straight away there, moving past Felipe Nasser in his Sauber there, so he obviously wasn't very much of a threat to us there. But yeah, so that means we're back up into 21st place already there, so hopefully, we haven't actually lost too much time, relatively speaking. But obviously, we've lost a lot of positions there, but we haven't actually lost, I think we're only sort of 7-8 seconds behind where we would have been, as it was just a very, very clean spin. We weren't miles behind 22nd or whatever. But whilst I'm talking about that, we throw it up the inside of Rio Haryanto there, go for a very, very late dive bomb there. Very happy with the fact, we're back into P20. And next up is Jenson Button in his McLaren Honda. Obviously, Jenson really struggling here to find the pace in that McLaren Honda, as Ricciardo goes purple there, so he's obviously leading after that one, with Jenson Button just up ahead of us as we run hugely wide, right up to the wall there. Not very recommended line, but obviously this Force India has such good straight line speed here. Hopefully, we should be able to make some solid inroads on Jenson. Going through turn 1 now, they cut the corner absolutely massively there. Sorry, I'm such a noob at this game. But let's hopefully get a good run down this second straight here. Are we going to be able to look up the inside of Jenson Button? We have a look at it, and we move up the inside into P19, then nearly going into the back of Pascal Wehrlein there, narrowly avoiding him. So very, very happy, we managed to stick away from Pascal Wehrlein there, trying to avoid damage to the front wing here, because it's just going to be survival of the fittest here. As we're now going to get an absolutely beautiful run there, thrown out the inside of Pascal Wehrlein there, running hugely wide onto the grass, so he's just going to be able to get the cutback move. Button's also going to have a look there, but we give him the space on the inside there as he kind of started to back out of it there. So we basically gave him that position there, but the straight line speed of this Force India means we're going to be able to try and hold it around the outside, but we accidentally tagged Button there, and that is going to mean he's just going to fall to the back of the grid there. Huge, huge shame for him, but Wehrlein now at the end of that 3 is our next man on our hit list, obviously DRS now as well. So hopefully, Wehrlein isn't going to be too much of a challenge for us, just going to move straight past him. Mercedes power unit versus less developed Mercedes power unit. And we move up into P18 of the Grand Prix now. Coming on to the end of lap 5 here, though, as you can see, Ericsson is the next Sauber up ahead of us. It's quite weird, obviously, we're having to overtake Saubers here when this Force India last season was winning races and things. But it really does just show the development gap of the car when you don't develop over Christmas. As you can see there, Ericsson getting an absolutely beautiful run through turn 2 there. Not really able to close on in him too much, as we've obviously still got the DRS remaining within the 1 second there. But catching him up so much into the braking zone there, Ericsson very, very uncertain on his brakes. So hopefully, we'll be able to take advantage of that soon. Going to hopefully try and maximise our run through turn 5 here, take a lot of curb on the entrance and the exit there. Nail it absolutely beautifully, and we're going to try and look up the inside of Ericsson there, make a little bit of contact with his front wing, sorry, with my front wing, but we move up into P17 of the Grand Prix. Very happy, you know, we actually managed to slow the car down this time. But on to the start of lap 7 here, we're actually going to make a few places up from a few drivers coming into their pit stops. And there is Daniel Ricciardo just ahead of us though, so he was the original race leader. We're going to cut turn 1 again. But yeah, an absolute beautifully cut back move on him there. So very, very happy with that move in the end, although we did, unfortunately, corner cut. But still, we'll avoid talking about that. But still now, moving on to lap 9, MP7 here, as a lot more drivers have come in for their pit stops. Just trying to squeeze around the outside of Jolyon Palmer there. That's not going to work for us. So we're going to get a beautiful undercut there on him. Trying to hold it around the outside. Hopefully we won't get what happened to us the first time we tried to go around the outside there. And we absolutely creamed Jolyon Palmer there around the outside. Very, very happy with that move. I was so impressed with the fact I actually managed to make that move work. But now moving on to the start of lap 10 here. A couple more drivers, I think, have come in for their pit stops there. So we are next up behind Jolyon Palmer's teammate of Kevin Magnussen there in the Renault, and hopefully going to try and maximise our run through turns 1 and 2 here. The Renault not really having a good straight line speed package here, but we're going to try and look up the inside there, battle of the late breakers, and we move up into P5 of the Grand Prix there. Obviously still haven't made our first pit stop there, so we are a pit stop behind Daniel Ricciardo at this stage. But obviously him and other drivers will actually two-stop this Grand Prix, whilst we are in a one-stop option here. So it's actually looking very, very strong for us here, as Danny Kvyat is the next car up on our hit list. As we go purple through the first sector there as well. Hopefully, you know, we're going to be able to maintain this forward momentum through sector 2 and just get an absolutely beautiful run down into turn 8, I think this is. Kvyat there just shuts the door at the very last second. Luckily we didn't make contact with him there. So quite happy, you know, the fact we did manage to avoid front wing damage once again there. That is just going to be so crucial for us this Grand Prix. Just trying to minimise the damage we've got from obviously that first lap incident. But let's try and overtake Danny Kvyat there again. Absolutely beautiful run there, although we did trim the corner slightly there. The game didn't give us a warning, so I'm not going to complain. Just moving around the outside Kvyat there. He actually gets us on the braking there, but we're going to try and get the cutback move, barge him ever so slightly there in the rear. Tend to get a hurry on us. We're going to try and go up the inside into the third last corner there. Is that going to work? Yes, it is. And we move up the inside of Danny Kvyat. He's going to try and go for it up the inside of the second last corner there. But he's going to have to back out of it in the end. It's just the traction and the power of this Force India coming out the corner is so strong. But now moving on to lap 12 here, as you can see, we are coming in for our one and hopefully only pit stop of the day here. And just trying to see how many positions we are going to drop back down to. I'd like to think, you know, we sort of in like P15, P16, but I don't really have too high hopes there. As we get held up as the Renault there comes in for a pit stop. We set a 3-second pit stop there, which is a bit unfortunate, but still, we come out of the pits, what, in P15, P16 maybe? I'm not 100% sure there. Yeah, P16 now, P17, there's a few more drivers are coming past. Didn't really want this to happen, obviously. We tried getting out in front of these guys, but that has meant MP18 after our first round of pit stops, and hopefully, obviously, as I said, our only pit stop of the day. But moving on now to the end, sorry, midway around lap 13 here, as we have caught up Felipe Nasser, obviously, we're on a fresh set of tyres here, and just going to try and get an absolute beautiful run through this fast chicane here. Just make sure we don't trim the curb on the exit there, as we just, with the straight line speed, Nasser gives us a huge squeeze there. Really unsure what he was trying to do there. He just knew we were going to get the move into the corner there, and we moved back up into P17 of the Grand Prix here. And Harry Anto next up on our hit list, but Harry Anto dived into the pits. He really just didn't want to get in the way there. Pretty much making his second pit stop, I think, of the day. As hopefully a few more drivers are going to make their pit stops here. What position are we going to move up into? P14 is the answer to that question. So halfway through this race here, you know, P14, where we start here, I'm actually feeling quite confident about this. Gutierrez is the next driver ahead of us there on his set of super soft tyres there. So obviously just hoping, you know, we can close in on him. But coming through now into turn 3 here, as you can see, there are a lot of AI just up ahead of us there. And they have all, there's yellow flags out, and something has gone on here, as we're just going to have to pick our way through a carnage there. We've got an illegal overtake on Gutierrez there, but that is the virtual safety car is out. And what the hell has gone on here between these AIs? I accidentally click on the how does this virtual safety car work here. But let's just have a look from the footage from the guys up ahead of us. They're going 3 wide into turn 3, so I just don't even want to know how this happens. We're going to have a look from the Haas perspective here. As you can see, Alonso I think that's Alonso gets caught up on the inside curve. They're still going 3 wide into turn 4, and yep, is this just going to be what I think it is? Yeah, our teammate there just gets caught on the front end of the Toro Rosso there, and just he crashes into, that's Fernando Alonso, yes, going through the next part of the corner there. They both get up on 2 wheels there. A very, very big shot there. Surprised that none of them took much damage from that. But that has left both of them around in a spin there, and that is a huge, huge shame for them. Obviously, Alonso here just getting tagged by my teammate there, as the Toro Rosso actually got very, very away from that lightly. As you can see, I just tried to blitz it through there. Just trying to dance my way through the traffic there. We only actually got one legal overtake there on the second Haas of Gutierrez there, so quite happy, we obviously didn't have to worry about the other Haas there. But come on to the end of the virtual safety car, only half a lap later. The virtual safety car is ending now, and we're going to hopefully try and maximise our run through the chicane. Hopefully we're going to be able to jump absolutely beautifully, and we have timed that to perfection as we move up the inside of Roman Grosjean there. Very, very happy, we actually managed to nail the virtual safety car for once. And that puts us up into P10 of the Grand Prix, with next up is Carlos Sainz. And now moving on to the end of lap 15 here, as you can see, we've closed in on Sainz a massive amount. A few more drivers have come into the pits there, so we move up into P7 of the Grand Prix. Hoping, but there's yellow flags suddenly there, and Daniel Ricciardo is facing the wrong way, and that's a very, very odd place to crash. I don't know whether obviously that's been rear brake failure or anything, because the way he's just backwards there, not really sure what's happened to him. So we're going to have a look on the replays, what has happened to Daniel Ricciardo here, and please, no. Oh, I can already just see what's happening now. Oh no, it's his teammate as well. Don't say Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. Yep, they've done exactly what I thought they would there. And that is just not what you want to see. We can't really blame Max Verstappen for that. As you can see, he's just come out the pits there and tried taking the normal, obviously the pit exit line. Daniel Ricciardo is not adjusted his line there. As you can just see from Verstappen's point of view, he sees the front wing there, and just Ricciardo just gets spun around there, and that is just not what you want to see. As there's me just going through. I was honestly considering trying to maximise my run through turn 2 there and trying to get move on Sainz, but we may still be able to do that, obviously. They're just having a little flick through the race engineer there. Not really sure if we're going to ask any questions, but we're going to throw it up the inside of Sainz there, go for a very, very late out-braking manoeuvre there. And we move up into P5 of the Grand Prix there, behind Max Verstappen, but ahead of Carlos Sainz here. So very, very strong position at this moment of the race. Obviously, with no more pit stops, this is actually looking like a very, very strong recovery drive from ourselves. But now moving on to lap 20 here, as you can see, we move up into P4 as one more driver has come in for their pit stop over the last couple of laps. But Lewis Hamilton now on a set of soft tyres is really trying to challenge us there. He's going to try and move up the inside into turn 1 there. He's obviously going to have a very, very odd line going through turn 1, so we're just going to try and maximise the run out the corner. Obviously, this Force India is so strong in a straight line there. Even with DRS, Hamilton's not able to escape us. So we're just hopefully going to, yes we are, we're going to have to roll up the inside into turn 3 there. Hamilton gets a huge, huge lock up there, and we squeeze in pretty much off the circuit there. So, but we managed to hold on to our P4 there, so very, very happy with that. And just throughout the rest of this Grand Prix there, Hamilton and I think Bottas there as well, we did see in our rearview mirrors, are just going to be right on our gearbox there. As you can see, the radar there just showing Hamilton is very, very close behind us there. See, we'll have the DRS once again here. And he's just going to look up our inside once again. We're going to try and squeeze him as close as we can to the apex of turn 1 there. Really trying to compromise his run through the corner there. And that is just going to work out absolutely beautifully for us. We're going to move around the outside through turn 2 there. And we hold on once again to our P4 of this Grand Prix. As you can see, Bottas and I can't see who else is behind him there, are all trying to get past each other. I think that's Jenson Button, who's a lap down, is trying to fight with the Williams and the Mercedes there. So not really sure what Jenson's got in his head at this point. Not really sure what he's been smoking, but still, now on to lap 27 here, as you can see, Hamilton and Bottas have really been slowing each other down a bit. Once Hamilton managed to hold on to the position safely there, he managed to catch me straight back up. Obviously on the set of soft tyres, and their soft tyres are far newer than mine. These guys are just so much quicker than me, but Hamilton's going to have a look round the outside into the fast chicane. That probably will not work out well for him, as he runs hugely right through the first part there. And Bottas manages to get past him, so not really what Hamilton wanted to do there. But Bottas now is going to try and go for a move round my outside there. So the AI just giving me no breathing space here. They're all just trying to go for the overtakes. But around the outside again, Bottas cannot make that move stick. And we managed to get a little bit of a gap to those two guys once again there. But now moving on to the final couple of corners of this lap, and now onto the final couple of corners of the last lap of the Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg is the race winner. It was looking, well, from what I gathered, it should have been Daniel Ricciardo's race to win if he hadn't crashed with his teammate there. But Nico Rosberg takes the race ahead of what I guess is Max Verstappen, who's been right in P3. We're going to take home a brilliant P4. Bearing in mind, guys, obviously we look backwards in last place at one stage of this Grand Prix. So I cannot complain about P4 there, guys. Very, very happy with that result. And Bottas there tries going around the outside through turn 1 there, and he gets the move done. Shame you're 1 lap late there, mate. But still, Toto Wolff there. Very, very happy with his team's result there. Can't really complain from Mercedes though. He had a very, very good race from Nico Rosberg. Hamilton also managed to make positions up there, so very, very solid race by Mercedes there. I would assume they're leading the constructors' standings after this first Grand Prix. But 4th place for myself there, very, very happy with that. Obviously a little bit miffed that we missed out on the podium, but still can't complain too much. Sergio Perez there bangs in 1 point for the team as well. So Sergio, just helping the cause as well. So that means we're going to lead this Grand Prix with 13 points there, and lucky for some. But there we go then, guys. Kimi Raikkonen in third place there with Max Verstappen second, and Nico Rosberg takes the win at the Australian Grand Prix. Does this mean we're going to see another season of Mercedes dominance, guys? I'm really not sure at this stage, because from what I gathered over these first couple of races, is the first 4 teams, Red Bull, Williams, Mercedes and Ferrari, are just so close on R&D upgrades that it is so much down to driver skill now, and I never really thought I'd say that about Nico Rosberg. But still, Nico Rosberg there takes over, brilliant first place, ahead of Max Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen, myself there in P4 from Team 14 on grid, with Bottas 5th, Hamilton 6th, so Hamilton didn't actually make up any positions there in the end. Fernando Alonso in 7th, Daniel Ricciardo there recovers to 8th place there, with Marcus Ericsson finishing in 9th there. So a very good result from Sauber there, banging first points in the first race, even though we had a penalty, with my teammate finishing 10th. With Felipe Nasser just missing out points there in the left, with Sainz as well. Obviously, the driver's standings will remain the same as they were there, but we are in P4 overall in construction, just 2 points behind Ferrari, but Mercedes lead ahead of Red Bull, with Williams getting 10 points, McLaren Honda on 6th, with Sauber on 2 points there, with Toro Rosso, Manor, Renault and Haas there finishing overall last in that first race of the season. And that was an incredibly good race for ourselves there. Really happy, we managed to make it back up the pack. Just having a look at how much R&D points we get there. We bag 125 points there, which takes us up to 344 there. With just a few more points here coming from qualifying and things, it takes us to 396. In the rivalry challenges though, guys, as you can see, we both, I win overall, I both finished the race. I got a higher position there, but Hamilton and I both didn't get penalties. But back up into the purple after a couple of final disappointing results last season. And that is looking very strong for ourselves. That Hamilton, unfortunately, though, is leading the rivalry as he had a quicker best lap than ourselves. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.